Solomon Grundy, one of many villains Batman has to face in the Arkham games. Is Solomon Grundy the strongest and most powerful villain Batman has to face in the Arkham games? The wasted potential of Solomon Grundy in the Batman Arkham games. Solomon Grundy is a huge, giant zombie who's incredibly powerful and strong, but is lacking when it comes to intelligence. He's one of Batman's most powerful foes, but in the Arkham games, Solomon Grundy feels like a missed opportunity. Why did Rocksteady not use Solomon Grundy more throughout all of the Batman Arkham games? We first see Solomon Grundy in Arkham City, and this is his one and only appearance. His appearance happens when Batman's going up against Penguin, and Penguin blows up the ground, making Batman land at the bottom with Solomon Grundy there. Solomon Grundy's been down there for years, and Penguin has been keeping him there, and he decided it was the perfect time for him to use Solomon Grundy. At first, Solomon Grundy's very laid back, sleeping in a way, but then Penguin gets him going when he shocks him with the electricity. It pretty much powers him up, gives him his strength, wakes him up, gives him energy. As this is happening, Batman must be surprised because the moment feels very shocking. You would not expect for Solomon Grundy to be down there and for this to all happen so randomly. For Batman to have to take on Solomon Grundy out of nowhere. During this, you have to remember that Solomon Grundy feels extremely intimidating, terrifying, and like a very dangerous threat to Batman. Solomon Grundy ends up waking up, going over to Batman, but is being held back by chains, but he tosses them over his head with all his brute force and strength and manages to get free, using the chains as a weapon now. The boss fight begins. Solomon Grundy does multiple different attacks to Batman using these chains he has that have concrete balls that are huge at the end of them, and he's swinging them around, also using electricity to harm Batman as well. Batman having to dodge the electricity as well as all Solomon Grundy's attacks with these chains. The unsettling feeling you get while playing this boss fight definitely does not go unnoticed, as it feels like a horror game. Even the atmosphere and the music makes this disturbing feeling more noticing, helping to create an overall engaging and intense boss fight feeling. During the boss fight, Solomon Grundy's also using electricity to give himself more energy and power himself up. To cause damage and hurt Solomon Grundy, you have to use Batman's explosive gel on the places on the floor where the energy beams are coming from, to then make the explosive gel go off in order to harm Solomon Grundy. You have to do this 3 different times. Then Solomon Grundy will become at risk to Batman's attacks, like Batman's punches and kicks. Solomon Grundy is still using the electricity to keep going, power himself back up after Batman's attacks. At one point even, Solomon Grundy's on fire, and the chains with the balls at the end of them are on fire, and Solomon Grundy's just swinging them around. There's even a point where Solomon Grundy goes down, and Penguin screaming that Batman beat him, ended his life. When you walk over to him, it says, "Finish Grundy." Then you go into a cutscene where Batman goes over him, but Solomon Grundy's actually still alive and grabs Batman, catching Batman completely off guard. Definitely not what he wanted. But Batman still remains calm and composed, manages to struggle free, get away from Solomon Grundy, then continue with the boss fight. One of the other attacks Solomon Grundy starts doing is, with the concrete ball he has at the end of his chain, he's just slamming it at the ground, which is causing electricity to spread and go across the floor. Once you finally have done enough damage with your attacks to Solomon Grundy, he goes down, falling to his knees. Batman gives him a good beating and then rips out what seems to be his heart. Right after, Penguin is seen to be down there with you, starts firing a rocket launcher at you. You have to dodge all the missiles that Penguin's firing at you, get to Penguin, and then you give him a beating as well as Batman. Then Batman gives him one final huge slam, tossing him with one arm over him, making him land on his back with Penguin screaming at the top of his lungs. Then after that, Batman takes Penguin to Mr. Freeze. This was one of my favorite boss fights in Batman Arkham City. I feel like Solomon Grundy was used very effectively and was well done, and what they were trying to do with this boss fight was executed greatly. It's very enjoyable for the player. Also was a great introduction to Solomon Grundy being in the Arkham games. Without a doubt though, Solomon Grundy had a lot more potential in the Arkham games. He could have been used a lot more in Arkham City or even in Arkham Knight. Solomon Grundy is underrated. Even outside of the Arkham games, he tends to be very underrated. In the comics, he's even beat Superman. He's also very associated with Halloween, even being a part of the Batman The Long Halloween storyline. And his character gimmick and theme is just very related towards Halloween. With his chilling and frightening presence, overall unique character design and gimmick, but raw strength and power makes him a very convincing challenge and villain to Batman. Some ways they could have used Solomon Grundy was even more in Arkham City, giving him another boss fight, or letting us see more about him, even seeing him come back after being beaten and taken out by Batman, or him coming back in Arkham Knight, us getting to see a lot more of him, or even us getting to see him again in Arkham Knight and get to see more character development, him used more prominent in the main story, along with Scarecrow, the Arkham Knight, and Deathstroke. I'm sure this would be approved and well received by fans, as they seem to like Solomon Grundy and recognize him as one of Batman's most underrated villains. I truly believe he was underused, as he had great potential. He's very similar in a way to the Hulk, having a similar personality. Even his voice sounds the same when he speaks. They both have uncontrollable anger. They both have incredible strength and have severely high durability. Of course, the Hulk is very popular over in Marvel, with him also being a superhero, while Solomon Grundy is a DC character, also being a villain instead of a superhero. But I see his traits working very well to make him a great villain. I also want to mention that in Arkham Knight, you can find an Easter egg referencing Solomon Grundy on Founders Island inside a small room with music playing. Solomon Grundy's Born on a Monday nursery rhyme and a picture of him saying "wanted" on it. This hidden secret Easter egg in Arkham Knight was probably my favorite in all of Arkham Knight, and it's great to see that they still kept him in mind, still doing something for his character. Solomon Grundy has been shown to be one of Batman's most powerful villains throughout many interpretations of the character. For sure, Solomon Grundy is pretty dumb, not smart at all, having also terrible self-awareness, but he makes up for it with his immense strength is undeniably impressive. Also, not having a sense of fear, being so bold and confident, helps things work in his favor even more. He would be a great addition to help create a new sense of development, creativity, change, and making things feel like they're not just staying the same. It's always nice to get new characters being used more. He brings the unsettling and petrifying feeling with him. Many other of Batman's villains are either very strong and powerful or terrifying and intimidating as well, with great examples of villains possessing these traits being Killer Croc, Scarecrow, and Bane. So why would Solomon Grundy not be successful and do great if they were to use him more in the Arkham games? With fans seeming fully welcome of it, the only argument I can see made to say that Solomon Grundy would not be good for the Arkham games is his lack of intelligence, which might be unappealing and not interesting to many fans, especially at first. Also, taking into account if they don't even know who he is outside of the Arkham games. I still believe, though, the traits he has that are positives and that are good overshadow the negative and bad ones. You could also argue that him not being that smart can make his character better at the same time, since it makes him more unique, and the scenarios and situations he finds himself in, he handles more unusually compared to other villains and characters in the Arkham games. He'd certainly be able to bring something to the Arkham games that makes the experience so much better, especially with the Arkham games' much more mature and horror-welcoming take on Batman and the rest of the characters. I would say Solomon Grundy is Batman's most powerful villain that he faced throughout all of the Arkham games, with him surpassing all the other villains when it comes to immense strength and power and being a physical threat. Solomon Grundy is underused, has so much potential. I think he's a fantastic villain. Let me know in the comments, is Solomon Grundy wasted potential in the Arkham games? Could he have been used way more? Do you think he's underrated? And do you think that he's a great Batman villain? Remember to subscribe and to turn on notifications. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another Cosmic Chaos video. Bye!